Hey everybody, how you doing? Hope you're well. What you're about to see is a set of slides passed to me that will be used at the 2 o'clock meeting at the Alameda County Board of Supervisors by Oakland Athletics President Dave Kaval.
Used at the 2 o'clock meeting
Now,
at the Alameda County
what
Board
I
of
have
Supervisors
here,
by
and I'm going to walk you through this
Oakland
very
Athletics
quickly,
President Dave Kaval. 2 o'clock
is a set of 25 slides that I believe you all can see right now. And let's go through the slides real quick in the interest of time. So the first one, as you can see, is of the waterfront, and it's lit, and that's obviously the area, first area there. And that's the first slide. The second slide, as you can see, explains who is going to give the presentation. That's the president of the athletics. The third slide is opening day, which is appropriate considering this is reopening day in California. This slide explains that the waterfront will transform Jack London. The A's expect 2 million new visitors every year. They will have 18 acres of new waterfront parks and open space, 450 million in community benefits, 9,270,000 square feet, listed with all the different expected uses, which adds up to the build out, the value which would be 12 billion, expected 12 billion. Public dollars to public benefits, an investment in Alameda County's future. 18 acres of new publicly accessible parks on the Oakland waterfront. Transit first connections, bike and pedestrian facilities, improved freight access, protection against sea level rise, cleanup of toxic contaminants, new and preserved affordable housing on and off site. Union agreements will be union built pursuant to Ports, Maritime, and Aviation Project Labor Agreement. Local hire, apprentice, and disadvantaged worker requirements will be followed. Social Justice Fund contribution requirements, union labor requirement, union operated. That is a new rendering showing there'll be a regional draw, but also showing the scale and scope of the buildings as allowed by the zoning for the area. It's current. They expect it to be a regional draw. Now, this is the full build out. This is the $12 billion version. Then we will hear from Jim Wonderman from the Bay Area Council. Wonderman is expected to say this is a win-win for the region. Then we'll hear from Deputy City Administrator Betsy Lake and Project Manager Molly Mayburn from the City of Oakland. And they will talk about the district plan and land use layout. They will call this redevelopment 2.0, and they will say that for 45 years, the county contributes its portion of their incremental property taxes and other fees generated from new development in the ballpark district site to an enhanced infrastructure financing district. The county elects to opt in to the enhanced infrastructure financing district, which will enable the project to move forward and unlock significant new revenue streams for the county. Bonds are recourse to the district, not the county's general fund. And I have to note, folks, that the city has not established the organization that will let release the bonds, and the meetings and hearings to do so are not listed in the schedule that has been sent back and forth regarding Howard Terminal. The city should have developed that agency last year, because in so doing, they would have had their county fiscal negotiations already. The county retains its current property tax base and all other incremental taxes, sales and transfer taxes. Now, here's the thing. The county retention of the current property tax base could be negotiated so that that is added into what the agency takes. It would allow a larger bond issue that could be released earlier. That's Howard Terminal today on the parking, as you can see. Now, the existing base year level of property tax revenue is fixed. And they're saying that it is $7.6 billion in assessed value. As property tax revenue grows due to new development, additional revenues over and above fixed base year revenues are captured to support public investment. And this is really good information because I can adjust my spreadsheet to reflect this assessed value for the base year. They're saying that, I stand corrected. They're saying that the assessed value today is at 29.5 million, and they'll add 7.6 billion to it. That's what that larger dot essentially says, that by 2037 they expect the assessed value to be 7.6 billion. And that's due to the ballpark and the expected offices. I can run that in my spreadsheet, by the way, and see what the revenue throw off would actually be. It says when the bonds are paid off, usually after 45 years, all the property tax revenue resumes flowing into the city and county's general funds. Other taxes like sales and transfer taxes flow to the city and county's general fund. And they say this is the waterfront ballpark district, and they say that it's going to generate 16 million in county revenue per year. This is a consultant's chart for tax increment financing. It shows the fixed tax base, and they said the funds continue flowing to all taxing entities, but you can negotiate to have those added into the tax increment, making it a classic redevelopment project. Then they go on to explain what enhanced infrastructure financing districts are. This presentation should have been done in 2019 and 2020. This is the kind of presentation I wanted to give the Chinatown town hall meeting that Nikki Fortunato Bass had held November 20th of 2019, but I digress. This explains what enhanced infrastructure financing districts are. Government entity established by a city or county that carries out a plan with a defined area to construct, improve, and rehabilitate infrastructure and affordable housing. We used to call these Oakland redevelopment agencies in California. Then they have to set up the public financing authority, legislative body that governs the district. County board, city council, 2 public members, directs preparation, the infrastructure financing plan, holds public hearings, authorizes issuance of bonds, conducts annual reviews, oversees independent audits. This authority has not been formed yet. Infrastructure financing plan must be independently adopted by city and county, describes public capital facilities, projects maximum annual tax increment and limits, specifies expiration date, includes a fiscal impact analysis. Now, this financing plan is adopted by the city and the county, but it's presented, and this is what they're not saying, by the public financing authority. The fact that the authority doesn't exist is a big error in the process as done by the city of Oakland. The community facilities district, they're planning a Melrose district. They say the property owners will agree to impose a special tax. That will be the A's to start and any other developer that comes into the area. And those taxes will be used to help pay for construction, maintenance of facilities, secure revenues, and special taxes would also apply to Howard Terminal project, and no property owner outside the project site will be subject to them. They say that the community facilities district or Melrose and the enhanced industrial financing zones, enhanced infrastructure financing districts, excuse me. I prefer to call them redevelopment zones, are a tried and true approach. EIFD is just too long a term, folks. We should need to go back to redevelopment. Anyway, they say they're formed with coterminous boundaries, which means they end at the same time. They capture, the EIFD captures property tax revenues as the property is built out. The Melrose district, or the CFD as they call it, issues bonds backed by special taxes and land values. The CFD bonds are well accepted in the debt markets. CFD bonds are non-recourse. Revenue shortfalls, though rare, are backstopped by the developer, not the city or county's general fund. A recipe of success. The structure has been used by every California EIFD form to date. I think the backstop, however, is that the agency will wind up owning what the developer builds. So that needs to be fleshed out. Sources of funds, as you can see, private investment, city's tax increment, county's tax increment, public parks, affordable housing, infrastructure. Those are the uses, sources and uses. They have really reduced the city's tax increment, the county's tax increment. They didn't show the agency tax increment. This is a little weird. The direct fiscal benefit to Alameda County is annual county EIFD eligible revenues at $10.65 million. Fiscal responsibility, no public funds used to build, operate the ballpark, no general obligation bonds, no increases to city or county. There's a lot they leave out here. The city of Oakland respectfully requests that the Alameda County Board of Supervisors schedule an action item to its June 22nd, 2021 meeting to adopt a motion declaring their intent to contribute the county share of the incremental property taxes that will be generated from the development of the waterfront ballpark district at Howard Terminal into an enhanced infrastructure financing district to be formed over the project site only for the purpose of financing affordable housing, parks, and other infrastructure of community-wide significance. Folks, they left out the full tax increment from this. There is no slide here that presents the full potential tax increment revenue over that 45-year period based on what's built. They left it out. They have left that number out. They give you the assessed value, which I'll plug into my model, my spreadsheet, but they left it out. Look at this. So there's the presentation. You've seen it. And we'll see you at the meeting. Subscribe to Zenny62 and bookmark oaklandnewsnow.com. That ends this broadcast. Oh, Kevin Cole. Kevin Cole asks, does this presentation look good enough to encourage the county to be on board with the project? No, Kevin, it doesn't, because it leaves out the tax increment financing numbers that I have in my spreadsheet. If you go to oaklandnewsnow.com, oaklandnewsnow.com, Okay. Here. And then it's the first post on the left. You can read about it. That ends this broadcast.